I think that a lot of awareness, a lot of what people are trying to show, a lot of teaching, it's not central to who you are, right? It's constantly, and let me see if I can clarify this a little bit more. It's a constant struggle if you're trying to become what somebody else wants. Simon Sinek is such a genius. I like the way he framed what is your why. But I think sometimes you need to go a little deeper than that. Before you define a why, you need to define who, right? Who are you, and who are you at your core? And as you dig deep, and I think that's something, that's a frame of reference I want you guys to be able to come back to on a daily basis. And really that has to be rehearsed, right? Who is that person? And once we identify who we are, it's important to rehearse, almost like stepping into a role, understanding that it's not necessarily an act, but we understand that we are not going to allow the message that is constantly coming at us, or the messages that are constantly coming at us that try to frame us once again. They'll reframe you, if that makes any sense. And you don't realize it, but we're being constantly bombarded by all these different messages coming at us from media, from TV, from social, from friends, from family. It's over and over and over and over. So to be able to really come into the dream, you really have to kind of answer this question of identity. And so who you are is going to become what you achieve, right? And now you can begin to answer the question why much better than you could if you don't know who you are. I think a lot of times if we begin to chase something but we don't understand personally the depth of who I am, then I'm not going to be 100% because I'm going to constantly be in this struggle on trusting, first of all, foremost, me. A lot of times people can't get ahead because they haven't learned to trust themselves. We haven't learned to be able to simply hear our own voice or watch our own actions and be comfortable. A lot of times people will call that rebelling. And if it goes toward negative behavior, there's some truth to that. But we got to be able to rebel in a sense, to just kind of use that word, against the system, against the matrix, right? Against the social conditioning in a positive way, in the positive dream, in the positive identity. And you got to understand that you are a much more positive, much more abundant, much more influential person than they want you to be. So people are constantly trying to get you to conform to what quote unquote is normal. You're not normal. There's nothing normal about you. You're different, and you're different for a reason. You're different for a purpose. So once you begin to love yourself, right? That's the key right there. There's freedom in that. Once you truly begin to love yourself for who you are, you begin to love yourself for your differences. You begin to accept yourself, right? You begin to forgive yourself. And then all of a sudden, there's purpose attached to that, and you realize that these things sometimes that you were told were weaknesses, these things that people tried to tell you made you less than, right? And you switch that little v right, and all of a sudden you realize you're greater than, and now you've stepped into being powerful rather than expecting power to come to you. And you've got to be more of a conduit from another source. Once you conduit from another source, which is what we're going to get into right now in a second, that's when power begins to really be your friend. The biggest struggle is going to be understanding who you are. We're going to come back to this over and over and over, is that your identity is very crucial to your dream. And so you can't just start chasing a dream that's out there. You've got to come inside first. Okay. You got to come inside first, and you're going to pull that thing out of you. All right. I hope that makes sense. We'll see you in the next one.